Yeah, I guess we went live. Hello. I'm just getting the hang of this system. I don't know how this thing works. What is this place? Kerry O'Shea Gorgon. I think we've done enough backpack shows. What do you think?
I feel like you've done this sensational type title before where you're like the last backpack show, but it was because we were back like the next week with a different show, but we don't know what we're going to do next. So I don't know. So I guess this is really the last one, but yeah, I have interesting and mixed feelings about it all.
Hi everyone, Tim Kitzrow from NBA Jam and NFL Blitz, welcoming you to The Backpack Show. Your hosts, Chris Brogan, Kerry Gorgon, Boom Shakalaka.
Backpack show.
Who'd you look at?
My telephone. I didn't mean not to. I just was looking down. How about you? Who'd you look at?
I looked at a few of them today. So I looked at Sir Mix-a-Lot, and then I looked at Horacio Garcia Rojas, and I looked at John Bailey, and I looked at Jessie Hooker Bailey, who was a Broadway actress. And the whole time I was thinking, how amazing that we got to speak to these people. How amazing to get to learn from people like that, from such varied walks of life, right from the get-go on this show.
Yeah, it's really been quite a thing. And, you had said, hey, you know what you could do is you could pull up the show channel and show get a look through some of our popular lives that we did. And oops, it's set back to latest. So looking through that, it was interesting too, because we had like a princess, we had Josh Robert Thompson, we had a sexologist, which you've got to remember that post that we saw on LinkedIn, right?
I know. I talk about that every time we talk about like memorable moments in the show, because we had Dr. Sunny on, and she's like a real actual sex expert, like has a degree in everything in human sexuality. And wasn't she like, I can't remember if it was Playboy or Hustler. I apologize. Probably Playboy, but they had like a call-in doctor, and she was that. And man, she was so fun. But the day that we had Dr. Sunny on was the first time we streamed live to LinkedIn. And that was like how we made our great debut of a business show on LinkedIn, was with Dr. Sunny. And she gave some, we kind of asked her like, hey, what's something that you get asked kind of quietly after the conference speech is over that people don't want to like ask out loud? And she asked about anal sex. And she said that's what people want to know about but don't want to ask about. And so here we are live on LinkedIn, and she's discussing this. And it was so wild. I'm pretty sure we like forgot, because we set the destination and just flat out forgot that was our first day on LinkedIn until we saw the comments coming in. And somebody wrote a whole blog post about how delighted she was to have come across our show on LinkedIn where we were talking about that. She was delighted and wrote a whole blog post on her own site about it. Do you remember that?
I do. She wrote something like, I didn't know that I was going to be learning about sex education on my LinkedIn Live today, but I'm here for it. So I'm just going to say hi to Jackie, hi to Mr. Bear, who thank you for, Mr. Bear had a little lack of posting for a short while because of health and things like that. And I was really glad to see an update with him and Vic. Hi, Tamara, Paul Lechner's other half, the better half for real in this case, though. They say that sometimes. This is so vividly true. My dad's here, and also Leslie. Yeah, so we're going to end the show, and it's for a lot of mechanical reasons. This is not like weird or bittersweet. You want to talk about some of the research that you had done that kind of lent us to this?
First of all, I want to comment on your dad's hat, because in his profile photo, he's wearing a very smart hat. Second of all, I see you every day, and that's not going to change. So I think when we first started this, we lived in different states. We enjoyed collaborating. It was like something we wanted to continue to have like a common point of interest. And now we don't need a project all the time to continue seeing each other and talking about new ideas every day. We do it all the time. So that's kind of one thing. The other thing was, I'm pretty sure your channel, the channel on which we are live right now, besides LinkedIn, has decided a long time ago that you're like a gear reviewer and a vlogger. So it's kind of not giving us any help on that. And I feel like when we take somebody's time and tell their story, it's so interesting. I want them to get something out of it too. Like everybody likes it. We're fun. Like we all have a fun time, but really their stories deserve more exposure than the channel is giving them. So I don't know. That was what I kind of was taking away from the data. What about you?
Well, so I started this YouTube channel back in 2005, which is the same year YouTube launched, and there was nobody had a plan. There were no channels. No one had any, like, we just had accounts and we'd upload baloney videos and they'd be dumb and whatever. The very first YouTube channel, we're healing on the Oregon coast right now. You helped me so much. We appreciate you being part of the family. Thank you. The experience of YouTube way back in the day, the first ever one, Chad Hurley's partner, who I can never remember his name, was just a trip to the zoo. Like it was just a wander around a zoo. Like that was the way the thing was intended. And I have had this thing on and off, and I'll like post a lot to it and then I'll not do it since 2005. So when the YouTube algorithm looks over 21 years, it goes, this guy just didn't make it. He did not achieve escape velocity. Meanwhile, my brand new, completely different account channel is up to 3,400 and something subscribers in less than 2 years, and is like on this trajectory, and everything is happening to that channel. Like YouTube is going, yeah, now this is what we're talking about. So youtube.com/Chris Brogan is cursed earth as far as the algorithm goes, you know. And I'm not saying that like none of this is like, you know, I don't feel sad. It is just mechanically that way. And so Kerry and I were talking it back and forth, and we're just like, we can't keep running this show. It's not going to work.
And this question comes from inside the big yard at Folsom County Prison.
You should still thank our sponsors.
Yes, I mean, we could definitely do one last thank you to our sponsors. So Chloe Forbes Kinlan, who puts together the really cool Notion stuff. You can get your cool starter kit at businessops.co/backpack. This is crazy stuff. If you go to her YouTube, by the way, there's a lot going on, and she's really put a lot into the show. Fazia Burke, she is our, I'm trying to look for that. Thank you. She's brought us so many guests over the years. We've had some of our best author guests through Fazia, and you know, we should be very grateful for that. And she is now running a Substack to talk a little bit about AI and things like that. Any words for either of our sponsors from your side?
I'll put a picture down. Hold on. So Fazia and Chloe are two of the people who have supported the show in very meaningful and valuable ways since the very first days. So Fazia sent us guest after guest after guest, top quality. I think she actually sent us Princess Sarah Culbertson, from what I can recall. But we've had a number of guests over the years, phenomenal, down to a one, Len Joy, and so just so many. And I've come to value her as a friend and as a collaborator, her thoughts and opinions about things in publishing, but also things on AI. So definitely follow her Substack if you're not. She's so valuable. And Chloe, holy cow. So her stuff she'll talk about Notion, but she's really like a process and business systems expert. And I don't know if she gets enough credit for that. So just because Chloe is very pretty doesn't mean she's not also brilliant. Got to give her credit where credit is due. Follow Chloe if you want to learn how to run your business more efficiently in a way that will help you to scale like crazy. So that's what I've learned from them. But just everybody we've met on the show that we've worked with on it has brought something to it. I've learned something from every guest we've had on the show. I mean, obviously, like I have ones that have really changed in some ways the trajectory of my career or the way I think about things. And there's nothing better for somebody who loves learning than having conversations like that on the regular, especially in those early days. We were just talking about this. We used to do the show 5 days a week. Do you remember that?
Ridiculous. What the heck were we even doing? You know what I love too? So the view count has always been weird and wrong. Like the Janie Godley episode shows only like 400 something views. There were 500 something people there. Like, oh, I think because we also
800 on Facebook too.
I was going to say, I think we had Facebook in there too. And so this is just my YouTube views. We had thousands of people for that one. That was JD Godley is the second best thing that ever came out of Scotland. First would be Chloe. And so it was just definitely this experience of that. But I was just looking at these too. So we just sort of ordered our lives according to our YouTube as to our most popular ones. The mix has always been what makes it funny too. So Storyvine, Kyle Shannon with adult model and actor Kelly Shabari, Horacio Garcia's Rosa Haas and Fatima Molina from the show Diablero. We have Karen Putz, my friend, who is about achieving more things in life. She's a barefoot water skier and also deaf, and a dominatrix. So we've had some mixes.
Marty says, well, now what am I going to have pop up on my feed to distract me if I don't have Chris and Kerry randomly live on my screen? I mean, I'm sure actually will probably be randomly live on your screen, but that's what it will be. It'll be random. Figure out our next thing. Or maybe not live. It's hard to say. I feel like YouTube also doesn't value live. It's like, I guess you could watch that. Or here's 70,000 pre-recorded things that are very tailored to your interests and highly produced that you might also like. So, I mean, live is a weird place to be too.
There are so many experiences also now with AI slop, with shorts. There's just so many things kind of running counter to making a show like we've made here. And everyone who knows me knows that I'm all about sort of scuffy production. Like everything is like good enough. That's good enough. That's fine. And what YouTube wants is either absolutely raw or very produced. And I'm in that middle that makes it not as good. So, look, we started making these cool cover photos. We thought, well, this will do it. People will love the thumbnails. And I love the thumbnails, but they didn't change the world much. But when you look at them now, look at the 4 pretty looking thumbnails and look at the 2 not so. But it doesn't really, it didn't really speak much to what was going on inside it. Like we had the oral nuts. We had a NASCAR guy that, remember Tad?
Ryan Priest.
Oh, Ryan Priest. Tad was his boss, right?
So Tad owned the team, and it was like one of the smaller NASCAR teams. But holy cow, what a cool thing to do, right? Run a NASCAR team. And so he came on the show with one of his drivers, Ryan Priest. And Ryan was like late for some reason and also did the show from outside. So like clearly like something was going on. But he was outside sitting in like his project car. You know how some guys will have like a car that they work on from whatever. Anyhow, it neither started nor had air conditioning. And he was out there baking while we're doing the interview. I loved talking to Ryan, learned a lot from him, learned a lot about the business side of it from Tad. But the whole time I'm looking at Ryan Priest thinking, oh no, he's going to have a heat stroke and we're going to like affect the NASCAR season.
Will be why a human died. Leslie says, such wonderful shows over the years. I'll miss the shows, but thanks very much for sharing your guests and their stories. Leslie was our guest one time. She brought us all kinds of delicious maple sugar. Leslie is doing all this crazy like homesteading stuff in her backyard. She's got a pile of chickens. She's doing maple. She's got everything. Jackie says, sad to see this end. Glad I'd be around for some of the best part. The experience too of looking through the various shows has been so fun. I'm looking at we had Michelle McLaughlin, who is the woman who quit her technical project management job to be a piano player, and Mistress Harley, who is a financial dominatrix. Again, just that fun experience.
She was also a project manager.
Right. So 2 project managers who went in 2 vividly different directions and just super fun. Having Ralph Stayer, who's the Johnsonville CEO that we bullied into being our guest and or sponsoring the show.
Lovingly nurtured.
Oh, right. Not bullied. What? And Colette, who was from Coletti's Cookies, which is why I never remember her last name, DeVito. Colette was running her own business, and she was the one who, how's the story? Her dad, how to work?
So Colette really wanted a job initially. So she'd gotten her education. She has Down syndrome. She would interview for jobs that she was definitely qualified for and be told she wasn't a good fit. Never explained. They just wouldn't hire her. So she started her own business, Coletti's Cookies. And by the way, the cookies are phenomenal. So if you're ever interested in some mail order cookies from Coletti's Cookies, highly recommend. But she started the cookie business, hired other folks with different types of challenges, so that, other people who might have trouble getting hired for somewhere else. She also started a nonprofit teaching leadership skills to people with disabilities. I mean, she just did so much amazing stuff. She had her mom supporting her when she came on the show. She had like somebody helping her out, and it was just an excellent show. She did say if we ever were in Boston and wanted to come and bake with her that we could. We never did manage to do it, but someday I'm totally going to pop into her shop and get a whole bunch of cookies. I did mail order them.
Carol says, so sad to see the show go as well. It got many of us through some very trying, very lonely moments during COVID. A true public service, and thanks for all the energy you put into it. Yeah, COVID was definitely a huge chunk of what this show was, and so thank you, Carol. It definitely was, how the show started. I realized, oh no, I'm not going to be able to be on the road doing anything for a while. I better make something happen because I would like to, still connect with people. And I dragged you into this mess. I had 2 other shows, but versions of the show before this, and they said, come be on it. And you were like, yeah, I'll work in the comment section. And I yanked you on stage like Bruce pulling what's her face out of that crowd and Dancing in the Dark. But I was looking at this little pile. Look at this. We got Erica Clark, who is Mr. T's daughter. I mean, of all the people you could be, she's a comedian. We got Ariel Helvetica and Nikki Porcher, the most famous Backpack Show episode of them all for being mean to someone. We have the Sheep People. We had Barry Eisenberg, who's Jesse Eisenberg's dad. I don't even much remember Mike Freeman, but Jesse Eisenberg's dad was cool.
The other thing, Tommy Tallarico, do you remember that we had Tommy Tallarico on and he was just like talking a blue streak? We had to like interrupt him to get questions in. I remember that. But that segment ended up in a documentary film that your kids saw. Do you remember?
Yeah, so my kids watching this real takedown of Tommy Tallarico, who is, he's done very many things, but he's evidently alleged, let's say, because I don't want to get in any trouble. It's alleged that maybe not all the things that he says he did. And so he has a bunch of records that may or may not be challengeable. There's a lot of things. So somebody made this like big expose documentary, and there's a whole chunk of the Backpack Show on it with him saying things like, my mom is very proud. And they found like multiple times where he said that to us in the thing. It was a meme. People were sending around, my mom's very proud, kind of picking on Tommy Tallarico because of a Backpack Show clip.
That's insane. So first of all, that's insane. But second of all, it just goes to show you that the whole world sort of went on pause and everyone was like, what are we going to do now? Everyone. And because we had that collective, like, what are we going to do now moment, we got to reach out to people who otherwise would have probably had too much going on to answer us. And it was amazing, the kinds of things we got to learn and be part of. And even like we got to be part of this weird pop culture moment with Tommy Tallarico, right? I also remember when we had Mr. T's daughter. I hate calling her that. She's a professional comedian in her own right. And is it Erica Nicole Clark? Erica Clark. So when we had her on, we got one of the only racist comments we have ever seen come through. We did not display it on the show, but she saw it come through, and we were making jokes about it. She and you and I were able to joke and make fun of the person posting the comment. I mean, there were some really powerful moments in the years of doing this show. What's something that surprised you about doing it? One of your favorite times?
Well, I love that we decided when we wanted to launch the show that we know so many marketing idiots. We know all of like Gary Vee and Seth Godin and all those kinds of names that everybody has on every show. And when you really look it over, it's a shit ton of white guys. And we said, let's do women, people of color, LGBTQ, indigenous people. Let's get like a real spread of interesting people that are underrepresented. So even looking at the 6 that we have here, there's a couple white people in there, but Michael Irby, who is the actor from shows like Sons of Anarchy and the spin-off show Mayans. He was also one of my absolute favorite shows called The Unit. We did circus people. We've done just such a variety of covers of interesting people in all of our various shows.
John Saxby, legendary boxing coach, so good on the show. Like learned so much from him.
We had, and I just looked right here about a stripper, a coder, and a comedian walk into a business show. I mean, how cool is that?
That one had legs too because we had some really interesting mixes, and that was one. So we had, if I'm remembering correctly, um, we had one where the she wasn't just a stripper, she actually had kind of figured out a new business model to do strip shows online with other performers, and they would get a bigger share of the revenue because when they would go perform live, a big cut of the revenue went to the venue owner. And so they were basically turning it into like a co-op. It was a whole new business model for them, and it helped them to get through COVID. And I was like, damn, these so cool to learn business tips, literally business tips from someone that a lot of people would dismiss out of hand as not knowing anything worth knowing.
And I feel like we learned so much from it. I think we learned so much from grabbing people from different cultures that we had, look at the one Jesse Hooker Bailey and Aisha Jackson. Like that was really neat. It was Broadway. And we didn't, again, another story that we didn't know is sort of like the racism on Broadway. And they explained that out to us rather well. We got to ask lots of interesting questions. Una the mermaid. I mean, we had a few fictional humans on this show. We had Santa Claus and his wife. We had Una the mermaid. We had a couple of furries, Ash Coyote. So like just such a thing. The firemen, the deadlifting firemen, we've had just crazy types of things. You and I, in the early days, both kind of sought out the booking and we had our different ways. And then you did the booking almost all towards the end. But in the process of finding these people, we've said more than a few times on the show, but this is a good one in the wrap up. Talk about our differences of how we would pick the people we picked for the show.
I think everybody probably knows this by now, but I would kind of dream up the kind of person that I would like to talk to and learn from. Occasionally, I would come across someone like Ed Kransky, the deadlifting firefighter. I was like, is this real? Did he really lift, 350 pounds while it was on fire, like while the weights were on fire? Or was that like staged? So I kind of wanted to know that. And it turns out it was real. He was retired and he was hella strong still. So, I mean, that was like a happenstance. I stumbled across something of his, like a post or something. But usually I would dream up the type of person I wanted to talk to and go find one. Like Black chocolatier, an indigenous business owner, you found indigenous rappers. I thought about an Irish sheep farmer. I don't know why specifically Irish. I don't know why sheep, but like that was what I daydreamed up and that's how I got them on. So I would sort of come at it that way. Like what would be someone whose day-to-day life is so different from mine that I am sure to learn something. And then I would go find someone like that. You, on the other hand, usually would watch something on Netflix and get thirsty and like tweet an actress.
That is accurate. The other thing I would do is I would see like a really cool YouTube video like Butterscotch, the world's #1 female beatbox champion. And we grabbed her. We had multiple episodes with Butterscotch too. We like pulled her into a lot of projects. We did Jesse Cole a bunch of times back, at the very start of his Savannah Bananas journey. We couldn't get that guy a wheat fried right now. I don't even think he'd return an email right now. But I mean, he's I can't say we had anything to do with it, but he sure, came to us in the early days and was very willing to be in a bunch of episodes. And I think that's another plus of our show all the way around is so many people said yes to us. I think partly because it was the pandemic, but also partly just because it was such a time where people felt admired and appreciated on the show. Don't you think?
I think it was a lot of fun. And didn't hurt that you have one of those like presences. You've been around for so long in so many different capacities. People are like, I feel like I know who that is. And so that always helped to kind of get us in the door. But once people came on the show, we could immediately put them at ease. I remember we had one actor, Alex Neville, who had been on Cheers and had like smaller roles in a lot of other productions. And he called me first to make sure that we weren't like weirdos or something. So, but once he talked to me, like everything was fine. He just wanted to make sure that it was nothing strange or like unprofessional or amateur. And it was great. And we had him on. It was fantastic talk. You learned a lot. I learned a lot from him about the day-to-day business of acting when you're like a character actor, or you take not like the lead role, but you play a bunch of like other parts. I also learned a lot of interesting things about the business. I mean, about stripping business, right? But also about the financial domination. When we had Mistress Harley on, she talked about how she did not show these guys anything that would be considered sexy. She did not dress sexy. She sure didn't touch them. She didn't see them. This was all online. All it was really like psychological domination, I guess. Basically, like, you're a loser who doesn't deserve your money. You should give it to me. And they freaking did it. I still, to this day, I was like, oh, that's a missed opportunity. I should have learned how to do that, because she was making bank.
It's really so much learning. I was just looking at the corner one there, Jill Heinerth. That was a fairly recent episode too. Jill Heinerth was fascinating just because she was ready to go. And I guess like during COVID, she had made a whole production system out of her computer and everything like that. So she was the most multimedia person on our show ever, way beyond anything we could have done. Like at several points, I just felt like we should just walk away and let her do the rest of this episode because it was so good. It's funny that like there are certain episodes where we had to drag people kicking and streaming, just the whole way fighting us on like the coolest, most interesting person. We'd ask them a question and they'd go, yeah. I was like, and then there were people we just did. What was that guy? There was that guy that we didn't think was interesting until after we wrapped up and said goodbye to him. Do you know who I mean? We brought him back for a whole other episode because he was super interesting. I forget his name though.
Oh, there was he a videographer? Because there was one that was a videographer, and we had someone else on. It's not that he wasn't interesting. It's that the other person was like so traditionally flashy, interesting, kind of a sparkly. I can't remember that the contrast. I think he suffered from the contrast. And then in the backstage after the show, we were finding out about this video guy's like amazing background, and we were like, that's it. You have to come back on. You have to come back on and tell us your entire story. Because now that we hear it, because we didn't get to, because we were so focused on this other thing, holy cow, it was nuts. Like in high school, they were making enough money to hire a driver because they weren't old enough to drive. They were making enough money to hire a driver to take them to gigs to do videography. Holy cow.
I'm going to show just a tiny clip of our talk with Tim Kitzrow, and I don't have it queued up because everybody just saw me click it, so I don't know what the crap's going to go on here, but he was one of my favorite episodes. Him and Josh Robert Thompson separately, but here we go.
You are going down! Watch out! Fire engine on the right! He's on fire! Boom shakalaka! And he just went off the road. Oh, he's going down tonight. Yeah. I said left, you idiot. I would love to do that.
Oh, that would be the best. And you'd need a cheat code to activate it on your device.
Uh-oh. The cops are coming up on you. This is not looking good for Brogan. Not looking good.
Michelle
He's
says,
going down like a bag of hammers tonight. And he just stepped out of the car after blowing past that officer, and he blew a 2.0 on the Dunkalizer, which is over the legal limit, by the way.
Unbelievable, right? I mean, that's like the coolest thing we ever had on the show.
he was like Robin Williams almost. He was just like nonstop on fire. So much energy and so fun. And he's another one we had back again and again. And he made us a whole bunch of really cool assets. We didn't even ask. He's like, you want me to maybe record some stuff for you? And we're like, yeah, that'd be cool. And we had no idea what. And he just full on made stuff up and sent us like 25 minutes worth of audio that Dan cut up into those little clips we use sometimes.
I was just looking through the last of them, but I think we're good. I think I don't need to.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Feline invasion. I repeat, we have a feline invasion. Chris, hold very still. Do not turn your head. For the love of Pete, don't turn your head. Oh, the humanity.
You have to thank Dan for all his editing effort over the years.
Dan Gorgon made some of the coolest things. So yes, thank you. You're right. Dan really added to the show in so many ways. There's so many of these things that he made that were just like, you know, we're riffing on Kitzrow stuff, but Dan made the visuals. Look at this.
And this question comes all the way from the second stall, the men's room at the Home Depot, just outside of Lansing. You know, I've never been able to locate a restroom at the Home Depot. Not a once. I just go in the drywall aisle. No one's around.
An arrow. The arrow made it funny.
That's Dan, though. That's Dan's editing style. So listen, it's been an incredible run, and we could do this forever, but we're not going to. So
Carol points out, she says, I was always impressed with how good you were on your toes when a guest did something unexpected or questionable. Daily live shows where anything could happen would raise my blood pressure. I think that's true. I mean, there's just so many instances. Like we had that woman who wrote for Star Trek, which was so amazing. And her phone sounded like it was terrible.
that was disappointing. The other thing that happened was we would have people like Tessa Smiley and Sister Ann Flanagan on the same day, and one of them would be having some horrific technical problems. So I'd be like on the phone in a different, StreamYard room, just trying to get their stuff sorted out. And I'm missing like the main part of the interview for the other guests. So that happened. And then we also had somebody that I called and they were at the dentist. And oh yeah, Carol's mentioning the coffee machine dude. I think if there's like one guest that we all agree was probably not the best guest, it was the coffee machine guy. But we can thank Steve Garfield of stevegarfield.com for having suggested in the very early days that we book 2 guests for every episode. Because if we had 2 guests, then even if one of them was a bust, we would have the second one to switch over to. And you know what? It was excellent advice.
Bitter, but sometimes, because sometimes it was just so evident that we ended up falling in love with one guest and appreciating the other guest. I did it every time. But there were times when you also liked their preferred guest where we both thought that was a much more interesting guest. And sometimes it wasn't the one we thought. Like that's the thing I always found exciting is we would discover someone for being interesting.
Then there were other times that we had every reason to believe someone was going to be a fantastic guest. Like we looked at their online content. Everything indicated their energy was excellent, their content, their vibe, everything about them. And then we had them on and they were like deflated. In one instance, we had Sir Mix-a-Lot on as one guest. Our other guest was Genevieve Bonamy. And her presence, she's like really high energy, almost like I don't know what the right word is, but she shone in everything I saw her in. Her energy just really came through. The poor thing, the day we have her on with Sir Mix-a-Lot, she had like run blocks to get to her cousins to go online with us because her internet was out. And so her energy was down the whole time. And the contrast between her and Mix was noticeable. And I was sad about that because I know she could have been a phenomenal guest. As it was, I mean, she has an interesting story. She did amazing things to kind of engage the Black community in Boston, because Boston, has a history of racism, and now they just have like low-key racism, I guess is the story there. But it was very eye-opening and inspirational. And I was like, I just wish her energy had been able to match what I'd seen on other things. What are you looking at?
I just deleted the brand asset that said the Backpack Show, and it was like, you're using this right now. You want to pull that down? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pulling it down. I'm pulling the goddamn studio down. We're coming back to the sticks on this one. We don't even need this background anymore. We can do, look, Duck Love Lane.
What are you doing? Stop.
People can come on and go, I don't even know what this dumb show is. Hey, we should get out of here. This is a good time to end the show. What do you think?
It's been real.
I think that more than any other part of the show, my favorite part of doing the show with you for just about 6 years, my favorite part
We did it.